new week is here. That means a Monday edition of Bet is on your device. I am Tyler Fulghum. She is the homegirl, Anita Marks, and we're ready to rock and roll for the next 30 minutes here. It's a new week and a new month. Welcome to August, which means preseason football starts this week. Anita, can't wait to dive into all that. We have a bevy of friends and family here at ESPN are going to join us and help us out with this here presentation. A reminder to you, which we always tell you at the beginning of every bet, ESPN's YouTube channel, our sports betting YouTube channel. Go there and subscribe and follow if you haven't already done so. If you have, good on you. I'm not talking to you, but if you haven't, youtube.com/ESPN Sports Betting. Trust me, it will benefit you greatly if you like to place a wager. Anita, how was the weekend? How is the golf game? Are you ready to rock and roll?
Golf game is on point. I'm actually teeing up tomorrow with one of the best here in New Jersey, third best amateur. Can't wait.
Ooh.
And listen, as you said, man, it is August. Preseason games are going to start soon. There's not a better time until we get to September. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
All right, can't wait to hear about the bombs you're hitting off the tee like your boy Pete Alonso at the dish on that shirt there. We'll talk baseball in a second, but of course we do have to start in the National Football League because we have now perhaps some semblance of an end, of a conclusion to this Deshaun Watson saga in Cleveland. Independent arbiter and judge Sue L. Robinson has issued a judgment of a 6-game suspension for Deshaun Watson after reviewing the case and going over the facts that she was presented by both sides. Now, the NFLPA has said they will not appeal this decision. The NFL has not yet decided if they will appeal or let this decision stand. They have 2.5, 3 days to do so at this point. So as of right now, if nothing else happens as far as an appeal, Watson will miss weeks 1 through 6 with the Browns. He'll be able to join the team for practice after week 3 as he prepares to take the reins in week 7. So, Anita, this is where we stand at this moment, but I know you have talked to some people in NFL circles and some people in the NFLPA. What can you share with us about those conversations you've done digging?
Yeah, because, as we know, the NFLPA has come out and said, we're not going to appeal. We're going to let this stand. And so we're all sitting back and waiting. The NFL now has 3 days to decide what they're going to do. So I made a phone call into the NFLPA offices, spoke to a few people I know just to kind of get a feel, test the waters. What are you expecting from the NFL? And what I got back was, the first stance from the NFL and Roger Goodell was 1-year suspension. And they feel a lot of that is optics, right? Like, based on perception, the overall feeling of NFL fans is, this was, a horrendous acts by Deshaun Watson. And so the NFL wanted to come out and say, all right, we are all on board for a year suspension. Obviously, we know that's not the case. It's 6 games. And the NFLPA offices, and I'm sure a lot of it has to do with the fact that this is what they are feeling, is that they are not anticipating the NFL to appeal. This would be best for the NFL. This would be best for Roger Goodell. This would be best for the Browns. This would be best for Deshaun Watson. Just for this to kind of subside, let Deshaun Watson ride out his 6-game suspension and come back in week 7. And here we are. We're taking a look at the schedule, at Carolina, the Jets, Steelers, Atlanta, the Chargers, the Patriots. Here's my take, Tyler, and I'm curious to get yours. I think they go 2-4 here with Jacoby Brissett. I know that there's some talk and speculation that Jimmy Garoppolo could be traded, but are you really going to trade for Jimmy Garoppolo for 6 games when you've given up, the world and you're paying Deshaun Watson a fortune to come in? I think Jacoby Brissett can handle the 6 games. And so I'm looking at the Jets and Atlanta as 2 potential wins for the Cleveland Browns. So I'm anticipating 2-4 in their first 6 weeks.
Yeah, that schedule, by some metrics, is the easiest through the first 6 weeks in the entire NFL. In fact, at some sports books, the Browns are still favored with Brissett in 5 of those 6 games. The only game where they're an underdog is against the LA Chargers, and they're the only team that has a season win total set prior to week 1 north of 500. All the other ones are 500 or less. So a couple of those teams might be among the worst in the NFL with the Jets and the Falcons. So that's the way we are choosing to handle the news with Deshaun Watson. We, of course, will have plenty of time to digest and further analyze what to expect from the Browns going forward. But let's get the show officially kick-started, playing some games and having some fun with a little reaction or no action. Anita, will start on the hard court of the United States Open. Now, at this moment, Novak Djokovic is the favorite to win the U.S. Open at plus 150, but we know he is not vaccinated, and right now the rules and stipulations for that tournament indicate if you're not, you can't come over to the U.S. and you can't play. So reaction or no action, with about 4 weeks until we finally see this tournament, Novak Djokovic will win the U.S. Open?
Listen, right now, why not reaction? Really, what do you have to lose? And follow me here. As we know, he won Wimbledon. Medvedev did not play. I get it. But, of course, we know the Joker. He dominates on grass. On top of that, he did play in the U.S. Open last year, and he lost to Medvedev. So you might be feeling like, well, even if he plays, Medvedev is more than likely going to win. On top of that, this isn't grass. Now, again, it is the hard court, although it is blue, which kind of throws me off a little bit. And at the end of the day, you can always hedge your bet. Right? Like, and by the way, if he doesn't play, you get the refund. So I guess my point is reaction. Why not? Like, what do you have to lose?
Okay, I say no action, but I was not aware that if you make the bet and Joker is not available to play, that you get your money back. So if that's the case, I completely understand your logic. It's a free roll on Joker at plus 150, but I said no action because he's not getting the vaccine, and I don't think in 4 weeks the rules and stipulations are going to change that would allow an unvaccinated player to enter the U.S. Open. So I just don't think he's going to be there. That's why I say no action. All right, let's move to Major League Baseball. The Houston Astros, a team that's pretty much been the second best team in the American League all year behind the New York Yankees, will win the AL pennant at a price of plus 180. Reaction or no action?
Yeah, big reaction here for me. Listen, this Yankees team, they're 5-6 from the All-Star break. We've seen some regression. They lost to the O's, they lost to Kansas City, they were swept by the Mets. The Astros own them. And report today is that they really made a solid offer for Ohtani. Obviously, they didn't get him. They did not get Luis Castillo. He's now with the Seattle Mariners. So big reaction here. The Astros own the Yankees right now until things change.
I'm on the opposite side here again. I'm going to say no action. I do agree that the Astros are a great team. I don't love the price at plus 180 because I'd rather just eat the chalk and lay it on the Yankees because I do think they're the best team. They added another reliever in Scott Efros from the Chicago Cubs to bolster their bullpen. And then if I'm not going to bet on the Yankees, I would like to go further down the board and try and find a little lightning in a bottle with a long shot like the Twins, like the Blue Jays, like someone else. So I say no action here. I understand what you're saying about the Astros. They are a great team. I'm either betting on the favorite and the Yanks or going further down the board and betting on a team that's a little bit bigger long shot. While we're on the diamond, why don't we welcome in our first guest today on Bet? It is Jesse Rodgers, MLB reporter, joining us from Guaranteed Rate Mortgage Field on the south side of Chicago. Jesse, we appreciate you stopping by. We want to talk trade deadline first and foremost, which is 6 p.m. Eastern tomorrow on Tuesday. Now, Juan Soto is the biggest and probably most impactful name that is out there, and a bunch of suitors have come to the Nationals because Soto kind of scoffed at a $440 million contract. He's under control for another 2.5 years. So ultimately, how likely is it that Soto's playing for someone else besides the Nationals after tomorrow?
Well, this is kind of like a toss of the roulette wheel, red or black. It's 51-49. I've had my doubts the whole time that he'd be traded by August 2nd, by tomorrow. I think it's going to happen in December, but I'm open to be wrong because we just don't know what ownership is telling Nats GM Mike Rizzo about moving him. So I'm open to the possibility. I think it'd be the Dodgers if you want to put some money there, but I'm not so sure it's going to happen. I think it's a better bet it happens in December. That's just my personal opinion without really inside information there because the Nationals have kept this thing close to the vest.
All right, bring us up to speed on what's going on with the Angels and Ohtani. I know his contract is through 2023, and reports today that the Yankees made a solid offer for him. How serious are the Angels in regard to dealing Ohtani?
Not by tomorrow. Not serious at all. I think this was just kind of like a feeling out process. I think people have to understand there's twice a year where you really talk trades among the GMs. That's in July and then obviously the offseason. So sometimes you're feeling things out for the future. You take this information and you go to the winter meetings with it. I think that's what the Angels were doing. Not going to be traded by tomorrow.
All right, Jesse, you're a Windy City guy. That's why you're there in the dugout on the south side of Chicago. I want to talk about those very White Sox. They are in third place right now in the AL Central, yet they have the shortest odds to win that division. If you are in Chicago, you know White Sox fans have kind of about had it up to here with the White Sox underachieving this season and Tony La Russa and some of his antics in particular. But at plus 140, they have shorter odds than both the Guardians and the Twins, who are in front of them in the standings. With about 9 weeks to go in this season, who do you think ultimately wins the American League Central?
It is a tough call. If you ask me after the trade deadline, I may have a better answer for you, because what these three teams do in the next 24 hours could be the difference in the division. They all need pitching, especially the White Sox and the Twins. So we'll see what happens. But right now, I mean, that value on the White Sox is pretty darn good. About a month ago, though, I kind of got off their bandwagon. I think the Twins might hold on here. I kind of like Cleveland's organization. If you think about the future, they have the youngest team among those three. I'm not sure it's Cleveland's year just yet. Think about them for next year. The value play is the White Sox, but I'm not so sure they can do it. They've been muddling around 500 for months now. This is an easy month, though, in terms of the schedule, so the value is certainly there. Somehow, some way, I still think the Twins are going to hold on, so I'm hedging my bets.
Let's look back before we look forward to my question for you to the Atlanta Braves last year. From July 15th, I like to call it active and attractive, they acquired 4 players. Let's take a look. And of course, one of them was the World Series MVP, the other the NLCS MVP. So not only are they active, attractive, but they were successful. In looking at this, is there a team heading into tomorrow that you feel is very Braves-like and is very active and attractive and aggressive in attaining quality players to try to help them win a World Series?
Yeah, would it be too cute to say the Braves again? I do think the Braves are going to add a couple guys, maybe not as many as last year, as they try to catch the Mets. That'd be one team. I think Toronto and Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's had some injuries. I think would be the other two that might add enough to sort of qualify for what you're looking at. Remember, there's a lot of haves and have-nots out there. So the teams like the Astros, the Yankees, and a couple of the big names like that, the Dodgers, may not need to push all in. So I could see the Braves, the Rays, the Blue Jays adding like you're talking about and making that push for the World Series.
Jesse Rodgers, straight from the south side of Chicago in that White Sox ballpark, joining us here on Bet. Jesse, we appreciate you dropping by. Great information and analysis.
You got it.
All right, Anita, let's stay on the diamond. Try and win some dollars. I mean, it's just been an absolute bloodbath for us here lately with our baseball bets. Last time we were with you, we tried to get back on track. We will show you the accounting because it's still no bueno, as you like to say. Now, you at least had a winning bet there with the Brewers run line against the Red Sox. But lost money overall with the Dodgers run line and Verlander parlay, and then Alek Manoah, for me, was a loss trying to get that same game parlay against the Detroit Tigers. They kind of roughed him up a little bit, and he had to leave that start late in the start when he took a line drive, I think, off the hand or wrist or something. So we continue to plummet. I guess you can only go up from here. We're due kind of for a win in Diamond Dollars. We were so hot earlier like Hansel. Now we are so icy like Mr. Freeze. I'll let you lead it off here again. I think you got about 50, 60 bucks left, 40 bucks, something like that. I don't know. You tell me what you're going to do with your Monday Diamond Dollars plays.
I am all in. And follow me here. Desperate times calls for desperate measures. Tyler.
Love it.
Let's start with the Mets and let's start with the Mets and the Nationals. Look what I'm doing here. Look at all this money flowing around. Scherzer, 6-2 with a 2.09 ERA. He's only given up 5 earned runs in 5 starts, so I'm all in on Scherzer. In fact, I think he gets the win tonight. Also, Corbin representing the Nationals. He's got a 10.80 ERA his last 4 starts. And the Mets, they're just great against left-handed batters. Also, I'm wearing the Pete Alonso shirt. Why? I think he has a field day tonight. For the Yankees in Seattle, I like the over here. Neither of these 2 starting pitchers do anything for me. But I do like Seattle to win. DJ LeMahieu batting over 300 against left-handed pitchers. And both lineups are in the top 10. And last but not least, I'm going to go Cleveland on the run line here. Arizona, they got swept by Atlanta over the weekend. Only 3 runs in 3 games. Zach Davies on the bump for them tonight. He's coming off of IL, so who knows how long he's going to go. They're probably going to have to go into their bullpen, which is no bueno. And in Cleveland, they're averaging 5 runs a game. So I like Cleveland on the run line.
Anita Marks is at the poker table, baby. And the crowd is starting to murmur. The crowd is converging. They know what is at stake here. She is almost all in. I think you have $47.09 in your account, and you're wagering 46 of those $47 tonight. So let's go, Anita Marks. I mean, we got to bounce back at some point. What better time than tonight? I like a lot of your analysis and handicapping, especially in that Yankees-Mariners matchup. I'm big on the Yankees offense. I'm big on them getting a win. I'm actually just going to do a Subway Series special money line parlay. I like the Mets and the Yankees just to both win tonight. You laid out why you like the Yankees against the Mariners. I like that as well. I think their offense will tee off on Marco Gonzalez, who has a 12.4% K rate. He does not miss bats. That's a bad recipe at Yankee Stadium against that offense. And then on the Mets side, they're taking on the Nationals, who may trade Juan Soto soon. But on the bump for the Mets is Max Scherzer. On the bump for the Nats is Patrick Corbin. One of these things is not like the other. I'll let you decide what that is. But Scherzer should dominate against a neutered Nationals offense, and that Yankees offense should do some damage against Marco Gonzalez. Hopefully Domingo Germán, who has some bad stats this year, but his peripherals are much better, indicating he's had some bad luck, has some positive regression against the Seattle Mariners. And so I'm liking the Subway Series special moneyline parlay. Mets over the Nats, Yanks over the Mariners. At plus 125, I like that price. I like that comeback for 2 teams that are massive favorites. Of course, it's baseball. Anything could happen, but let's hope the Mets and the Yankees get a win, and let's hope the $46 you invested of the 47 you have, Anita, come back in some way, shape, or form. We need it. Diamond Dollars has been an abject disaster as of late. All right, let's get off the diamond and hop on the gridiron for the first time here on Bets. In case you had been, just staying away from the NFL during this offseason, and don't blame you. We're about to talk football for 6 months. We're about to talk about it every day because it is our national drug. Here are the big trades this offseason. All pro caliber players on the move. We talked about Watson, Russell Wilson, another QB, Tyreek Hill, Khalil Mack, and at the bottom, Davante Adams leaving Green Bay to come here to Las Vegas. Rob Demovsky is our Green Bay Packers reporter here at ESPN, and he, of course, can help us shed some light on how the Packers plan on advancing to the post-Adams era. And they still have Aaron Rodgers, so that will probably help there. Rob, obviously it's going to be a much different receiver room for Aaron Rodgers, but he's as good as we have in the NFL. Tell us how some of those new names that Rodgers is working with that either expected to move into bigger roles or have come into the room for the first year this season via free agency and the draft are so far looking at this very early juncture in camp.
Yeah, Tyler, Aaron Rodgers told us walking into the locker room now is kind of a new experience. He's always used to looking over on the other side and seeing number 17. That's Davante Adams. Before that, he said he would look over and see 87. That was Jordy Nelson. He always had, quote, that guy is how he said it. Right now, there is no that guy, but having some experienced guys in Allen Lazard and Randall Cobb returning, guys that have been security blankets over the years, that helps. Having a newcomer in Sammy Watkins, if he can stay healthy, has had success elsewhere. The Packers are giving him a chance to revive his career. And then, of course, the 3 receivers that they drafted. Of those 3 rookies, Romeo Doubs, the 4th-round pick, has been outstanding early in camp, making at least one big play each day. Randall Cobb told me something interesting, too, that Rodgers is investing time with these young receivers, not just the young receivers, all of them. Cobb told me that Rodgers has been coming down to the receiver room, the receiver meeting room on a regular basis, meeting with those young guys. Now, one guy that it would help if they could get him on the field is second-round pick Christian Watson. He had a knee scope right before training camp, and it's unclear at this point if he'll play at all in the preseason.
Talking about Aaron Rodgers, a much different offseason this year than last, but there's been talk and speculation of possibly winning a third MVP for him. We know that no other NFL player has done that 3 years consecutively than Brett Favre. What has he said about the potential of trying to win another MVP, especially with this lackluster wide receiving core?
Yeah. Well, Anita, he made a joke last week where he said, hey, we're a defensive team now. He said, look, I'm saying it tongue-in-cheek, but he does like the defense and knows that they can lean on that to win a little bit more. As for what keeps him coming back, well, we asked him that last week, and he thought about it for a second, and he used the word love. And then he paused, and he said, I just want to love coming to work, love my teammates. Obviously, winning individual accolades is great. Winning another Super Bowl would be ideal. But loving what you're doing along the way, that's what Aaron Rodgers is focused on, or at least what he says he's focused on, not that third straight MVP.
Rob Demovsky, our guy in Green Bay, not from the frozen tundra because it's August, but the sunny, warm, relatively speaking, Lambeau Field. Rob dropping some knowledge on those Packers. We appreciate you dropping by. Look forward to chatting with you throughout this upcoming season, Rob.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Anita, let's take our turn now to handicap and talk about this Green Bay Packers team. I want you to offer up to our viewers right now just one play you have on the Packers, your favorite prop, future, whatever it may be, anything that you think you have an edge on right now with this Packers team as they transition to life after Davante Adams.
Well, as for the team itself, we've talked about it before in Daily Wager, and I actually like Minnesota to win the division. And I got Minnesota coming in first and the Packers finishing second. But probably my favorite prop bet is Aaron Rodgers under passing yards. And that's at 40, 50 and a half. Now, I went back and I looked at previous years. In years that he played 16 games, and of course now they're playing 17, he's hit the under here 4 times. Keep that in mind. And we just heard from Rob. What did Rob say? As tongue-in-cheek, and Aaron might have been joking about this, but this is a defensive team. And on top of that, I think this is going to be a team that's going to be more committed to running the football this season than years past. We talked about it on Daily Wager before as well. I love A.J. Dillon this season. So with all of that, plus a lackluster wide receiving core, no Davante Adams, and I believe this is going to be a team defined by defense and running the football, even though they have arguably one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. So I'm going under passing yards for Aaron Rodgers this season.
Anita, I agree with you. Earlier this summer, it was at 4,100 and a half. It's now down to 4,050 or 4,000 on the nose, depending on where you're shopping. But I was advocating it as one of my favorite unders as far as passing yards for quarterbacks this season. I am going to offer up under 30 and a half passing touchdowns. And all of these seem dangerous. When you're talking about a guy who is as good as Aaron Rodgers, betting on him to go under these thresholds is very uncomfortable. But let's reiterate it because you hit the nail on the head. I agree with you, and I don't think Aaron was trying to be tongue-in-cheek in like a sarcastic way. I think he was being tongue-in-cheek because, yeah, this is the truth of the Packers in 2022. Without Davante Adams, without a superstar established wide receiver, this team is going to lean on a defense that was already great last year, and then added Devontae Wyatt and Quay Walker, 2 studs from Georgia's historically great college defense in the draft. And they have A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones at running back, maybe the best 1-2 combination in the entire NFL. Right up there, certainly, with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt in Cleveland. So why wouldn't Aaron Rodgers and Matt LaFleur lean on that dominant defense, lean on that dominant run game? And I think the Packers will score and be an efficient offense, but consider what we saw from them last year and years prior when Davante Adams was there. When they got down to the 2-yard line, they didn't turn around with Rodgers and hand the ball off, like the Seattle should have done in the Super Bowl to Marshawn Lynch. They did what they did best. Adams would run in motion, he'd run a slant, whatever, and Rodgers would hit him for a 2-yard touchdown pass. Their goal line package was throwing short passes to Davante Adams. That's why he scored 15, 16 touchdowns a year. Without Adams there, now I think the strength of this team when they're inside the 3-yard line will be Aaron Jones and will be A.J. Dillon, who's 245 pounds. So I don't think Rodgers is going to be throwing near as much as he did inside the 5-yard line. I think they're going to win a lot of games where they don't even need to score 30 points. 21 to 24 points will win a lot of games for the Green Bay Packers this year with that defense. And Rodgers at this point in his career, like, how excited is he about, trying to put up big numbers in the regular season? In case of emergency in the fourth quarter of a close game, yeah, he'll do his Aaron Rodgers MVP thing. And then, of course, in the postseason, it's all in. We'll spread the ball and we'll move it down the field passing. But during the regular season, I like you, Anita. I think this is going to be a team that leans on running the football to score and dominant defense. So it's uncomfortable, but I'm with you. I'm going under with Aaron Rodgers this year, not because he's lost any talent. I just don't think he'll need to throw the football for them to win a lot of games this year. It'll be run game, and defense. So I like that we're on the same page there with the Green Bay Packers. They are expected to be one of the best teams in the NFC this season. So, too, are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, led by Tom Brady and what he can still do at age 45. Let's hear from our Tampa Bay embedded insider, Jenna Lane, on what to expect with this team this season and already dealing with a little bit of an injury issue.
Thanks, Tyler. Two things I was looking for today during the Bucs' first padded practice of training camp. The first, how backup center Robert Hainsey looked stepping in for Ryan Jensen, going up against the likes of Akeem Hicks, Vita Vea, and also Logan Hall. And so far, so good. I was also looking to see who would step up in the wide receiver room. Not necessarily the top four, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, who's still not practicing, Julio Jones and Russell Gage, but who is going to step into that 5th and 6th spot? And Scotty Miller did that today, regaining his footing on the team after really last season disappearing. Tom Brady fired a deep one to him and laced it between two defenders. Miller caught it on the ground, stood up and pounded his chest triumphantly. So that's going to go a long way towards rebuilding his confidence and regaining his standing on the team. And then Jones, I talked to a number of people and they think he looks just like he did in Atlanta. They don't think that hamstring is going to be an issue. Russell Gage, his former Falcons teammate, told me a healthy Julio is a dangerous one.
A big thank you to our friend Jenna Lane, ESPN NFL Nation Buccaneers reporter, and that offers us now an opportunity to further handicap this team. She mentioned kind of the big news of last week. Most importantly, Ryan Jensen going down with an injury that's going to keep him out months, and then they signed Julio Jones as well a little bit earlier in the week to add to that wide receiver room. What, if anything, are you wanting to play right now given all that we've seen so far this offseason and early in training camp with this Buccaneer team?
Oh, well, first things first, I think the Ryan Jensen injury is huge. Bigger than possibly even Mike Evans going down. Why? We know what Tom Brady likes. He likes a clean pocket from the interior, right? He doesn't like a pocket that's folding from inside because he doesn't necessarily have the speed or the athleticism to scramble outside. So he loses that security blanket, and I think that's going to be huge for him and this passing game this season. And of course, I know you're higher on Julio Jones than I am. I think Julio Jones is going to be a +1 as opposed to a starter. I love me some Russell Gage this season on this team. It's probably the only overs I'm playing. But team-wise, don't sleep on the Saints, especially after this injury. The Saints have the Tampa Bay Bucks number. They just dominate them. They've been 0-4 the last 2 seasons. So I got the Saints coming in first, the Bucks coming in second, and also I have the Bucks under 4.5 wins in this division.
Okay, I like that. Under 4.5 division win. I am inclined to bet unders with the team win total or pass. I don't really have a good lean one way or the other, though my instinct would tell me go under with this squad. I want to argue again with you for the last minute here about this Julio Jones situation. I will reiterate again to our viewers here that I like him over 550.5 receiving yards for various reasons. One, even though Tom Brady loses Ryan Jensen, they have a lot of time to figure out how to make this offense work without him, and Brady is as good as any at avoiding sacks by just getting rid of the ball quickly. So I'm over 550.5. Have I in any way, shape, or form swayed you? Are you still on the under with Julio with all the other receivers they have to work with?
Yes, I'm still on the under. I love Russell Gage, and there are other wide receivers in this mix, in this wide receiver room who Tom Brady really covets and likes. And he's not going to take away targets from them. And we'll be lucky if Julio Jones plays 10 games, Tyler. Lucky if he plays 10.
The wine is still on the table. Can't wait to see who wins that bet. Love you, girl. Love arguing with you about Julio. That'll do it for this Monday edition of Bet. Thanks to everyone who joined us. We'll see you back here on Wednesday.